Hi, it's Vicky Whitfield.
It's George Flanagan Jr. here.
Paul Cook here.
Hey up guys, Connor Winnie here.
Ben Crooks here. Welcome to the Two Yorkshire for the Saint Rugby League podcast. Hope you enjoy.
Together we rise, no room for fear. In this Super League we unite as one.
Welcome to Monday Night Live on the Two Yorkshire for a Saint podcast, powered by Acorn, joining with Leeds. Karl, do you want to get us rolling, mate?
Yes, just a quick one, fellas. How are we both? I know we haven't chatted so much this week. We've been working and whatnot. So, guys, how are you?
I think I'm in the best mood of the three of us, if I'm honest. The village idiots here.
Yeah.
Straight
on
in.
the horse, Gaz.
Straight in.
You're certainly back on the horse.
For now,
Jordan,
we'll see.
Man of all the editing, how are you, pal? And have we got some other things to look forward to in terms of your editing tonight? Is there any surprise for the people watching?
I always try and do stuff, don't I? Just a bit of music, different music. I've tried to do more music, kind of like with what the segment is, so it kind of makes sense. So we've all kind of got his own music, but apart from that, everything else is normally the same.
Very, very, very good indeed. Well, without further ado, fellas, before we crack on with the review of the last games, just anybody watching, just don't forget to like and subscribe. Obviously, we've got those QR codes at the top for YouTube and our WhatsApp community group, so they're thriving at the moment. So please carry on with the support. It's absolutely fantastic. Gaz, was you going to say something there, mate, before I crack on?
Yeah, it's been a very competitive round of fixtures, hasn't there? This weekend just gone. There's been no blowouts. There's been every team's had a good crack, to be honest.
Yeah, and to be fair, mate, you pulled us up last night, didn't you? I think it's the first time that you've got one over me and Jordan in terms of you'll get the only one getting the win this weekend since we've been running the podcast. So obviously the face, but not of many, hopefully.
One more time.
Steph Sale straight in the chat there. Lee must have got ran close by UFC with Steph's coming out the blocks there. So that is for sure. Round 19 review, fellas. Thursday night, there was a small matter of the Bradford Bulls and Wakefield Trinity Odsal. Trinity came out on top, 26-12. I mean, Jordan, Wakefield just keep doing it, mate, don't they? They're certainly contenders at the moment.
Yeah, well, they've climbed to is it third? I think it is in league.
Second now.
The second. They were, yeah. Brilliant.
You've got the table there.
I've got the table. Yeah, I thought Wigan went second. If I'm being honest, I thought Wigan went back second.
Yeah, well, I've actually.
They're doing really well. I think, like I say, when we're talking about over the last few weeks, when we're saying about them being contenders, they've kind of got to be in the big games, and they've got to improve from last year before, whichever, and kind of be in the mix. They've got to win those vital games, and they seem to be doing it at the moment. I still do feel there's going to be some movement in the table. I don't think we've seen the end of Robbins. I don't think we've seen. I can't remember who's in top six, if I'm being honest. Lee Leopards are obviously.
Is that because you don't look so low down nowadays?
I don't look below me, no.
You get nosebleeds when you look down.
Wow. I had it. To be fair, this weekend, but first time I had a glance. Do you know what I mean? I thought I best have a look and just see.
Be careful before you get a nosebleed.
Yeah, it's one of them, to be fair. I mean, the game itself, Wakefield, I think they scored within 2 minutes, and then you're thinking, oh dear, it could be a very, very long night for the Bradford Bulls. And to the Bradford's credit, Gaz, they had mini fights back at times, but they just couldn't quite hang on in there, and ultimately Wakefield was so strong. But Bradford are showing some good signs, mate. We know they're improving week in, week out.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of bodies missing as well. I think they had 15 players out as well for this game. It shows the team that they've got. I mean, you can have all the individuals you want, but Haggerty's got them playing as a team. He's got the fringe players; they've all bought in as well. So it's one of them. I mean, until we see them at full strength, we won't really know what they're capable of. But like we say every week, they're never out of a game, either. They're always in there and competing.
No, I think what I like about Haggerty and his philosophies and his mindset is like he's obviously they're not winning every week. They're performing pretty well. Some weeks they're winning, some weeks they're not. But when he's fronting up to the Sky Sports cameras, he's just so level-headed. He's keeping cool. He knows the process he wants to go through, and he's not getting too carried away. I mean, the only thing that would concern me, Jordan, with that is he keeps saying loads of effort, week in, week out effort, just lacking that little bit of quality. How long does he keep saying that before he starts turning? Is that in what Gaz has just said there? When them players come back, that quality will probably win him more games than not.
Yeah, no, it's what is it? It's an hard one, isn't it? Because, like I say, you're expecting a lot from a team that's come up, and it's as much as it is the top league. There is a lot of teams in this league this season that are struggling, and they're not the main ones that are struggling. So for me, where they are in the table, like 10th, I think they are. They just keep going. Just keep going. Like I said, they're not going to do all amazing this year. They've got some good signings for next season. I think it was just dipping the toes in water, if you want to say, for this season. Just kind of see where they're at. But it's not a fair reflection, I don't think. Like I say, I think they'll do well next year, me.
And that's the thing though with Kurt Haggerty as well. The game's in his blood. I mean, his dad played for St Helens for a number of years. Roy Haggerty. He was known as a tough customer as well. So he's still a very young coach as well. He's only 37 years old.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
so he's still got a long way to go.
Yeah, and just a quick word on Wakefield, and more so their backs. I mean, whoever plays on the wing or centre for the Wakefield, they get the ball out wide, Darryl Powell's men, and they just really, really punish teams. I mean, I've seen it twice, single-handedly this year. Rovers have been absolutely done by Wakefield twice, and they get the ball out to the likes of Johnston, and even Will Tatel comes in the side every now and again. They all know the role. I mean, this is a lad, Will Tatel, wasn't good enough for Rovers a couple of years back, and look what he's doing. Darryl Powell getting the best out of his men again, and more so in the backs, and even going through the middle, you got Jazz Savanga and them types of guys, and they're just absolutely on a roll at the minute, Jordan, aren't they? And it's going to take a very, very good team to stop them in the tracks.
Yeah, like I say, I've always had faith with Wakefield. I've always had faith with them. Like I've said numerous times how much they are a bogey team for a lot of teams. Obviously, Rhinos more recently, especially with Challenge Cup, but they're one of those teams that can sting you if you switch off. So, like I say, we know the attacking threat they've got. They've got the quality. They've got their halves now. Their halves are doing really well. And yeah, they've got a really good pack. Darryl Powell, I can't fault him. He's getting the best out of them, and I really hope they can continue. And then when it comes to the back end of the season, it'd be nice to see them knock out a giant of a team into playoffs and try and see how far they can get. I would be very proud of them if they went that far. And it's hard because you're not expecting them to get grand final. You're not expecting them to be in that, semi-final, whichever. But it'd be nice to see something different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, spot on that.
It's a fair comment. Yeah, so Wakefield, they get the spoils at odds, so 26-12. 2 games on Friday night, Gaz. Your beloved St Helens there got the win over the Dragons, 34-18. We said the previous week it had to be better, mate. Was it far better, or was it just enough to get the win? How did you see your game going? And can you just give us your honest reflection on the game as a whole?
Yeah, it was far from perfect. We still made a lot of mistakes, but the biggest one for me was how many times we let Catalan offload the ball. But on the flip side of that, we still kept them to minimal points. But yeah, more players looked interested. Sailor looked all right in the centre. Robertson looked very comfortable at 6. Sirinen had a much better game. Shorrock's put himself about a bit as well. But I really want to credit the young lads. Tom Humphries at the hooker. He wants to be in every tackle. You know, he's running around. He's motivating the lads around him. He's 19 years old. And then 18-year-old Jack Campbell on the wing, who's actually a fullback.
Yeah.
2 tries, saved one right on the half-time hooter. Player of the match and made it into the team of the week. So it's not a bad way to start your Super League career, is it?
Yeah, and
I
was just about to say on that, Jordan, as well. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. No, go on.
No, I was just about to say on that, you know, a lot of people always see the tries, don't they, and think, oh, he's had an outstanding game. Well, before he scored the tries, like Gaz said, young Campbell, he made a try-saving tackle on the stroke of half-time. And ultimately, for me, it's great that he can score tries and finish, but them extra efforts are more important to me and will be as a coach, I'd imagine. And he needs crediting for that, I would say, as well. So fair play to the youngster. Sorry, Jordan, what were you going to say, pal?
No, just going to basically say about Campbell, yeah. I'm just going to say, like, fantastic game. Absolutely world-class, you know, like say, I love this fact that Saints are obviously on a bit of a season where they're having to throw bodies in, as we know. We've talked about this, you know, every week. Going through their entire academy most weeks. But like I did say to Gaz last week, it's not going to do them any harm. And look what happened. Like the good thing, like you say, the good thing about when you've got a player who can score tries like that, like say the defense is such a big thing in the game, because if you can't defend on your line, but you're a good high flying try scorer, that's all good. But you need both. You need to be good on your D. You need to be good defensive wise, and you need to be. And young Campbell, absolutely outstanding. And yeah, he needs crediting for that, because I do like, you know, I was talking about this a few weeks back where I said when I do my dream team of the week, I do like to credit where it's due. And I don't like to seem like I'm coming off biased, because I feel like my mindset's changed a little bit. And I am trying to credit people where I have seen them this week. And for me, Campbell's probably one of the standout players this week for me. And fair play to that lad.
So one thing I noticed in that game as well, there's one where Catlin on the edge, and I think Sailor might have said to Campbell, shoot the line, I've got your back. And you see him shoot the line, Sailor comes round the back and deals with, you know, obviously he missed a tackle, comes round and deals with it. I want to see more of that, like, cohesion between a centre and a winger.
Yeah.
2 lads who've never played together before. And also, I want to credit Jack Welsby as well. He had a really good game. And I have been unfairly critical of Jack Welsby. Depends on your opinion. But yeah, he had a much better game this week.
It was always going to come, mate. It was always going to come. It was just when.
I think when you set a certain standard for yourself and you're not hitting it, I think you do sort of open yourself up to that criticism a little bit.
Yeah.
Unfairly, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
That is it, innit? I mean, one thing that we haven't spoke about is, I know he's quiet at times, Tristan Sailor, that flick past Gaz, that was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was up there as a contender for try of the week, but I've gone with somewhere else. We'll go into that in a bit, but it goes to show what Sailor's got in his game. I mean, he can pull these weird, random passes out from nowhere. I mean, I don't want to upset Jordan here, but like the quarter-final last year, where he just done that weird pass out the back. I'm thinking, how's he pulled that off? You know what I mean? He's got all that in his game. He's quick as well. He made a few runs. His defense needs a bit of work, but no, he does make up for it elsewhere.
100%, yeah.
I think he's one of them. If you just get him involved, especially on the edges, get him involved on the edges, and in plays like we saw at the week on Friday night, he's a freak of nature. There ain't many people in the Super League who can flick them passes, who can make them decisions, you know, at pace, right at the line. So I know, don't get me wrong, I know he'll be one of the highest earners at St. Helens, and people say he's just doing his job. But what a hell of a job that was in terms of that pass. So it's full credit to him. Jordan, just a quick word on the Catalan Dragons. I mean, they're in it, they're not in it, they're miles away from it. They're just so like up and down, aren't they? Like the Richter scale. There's no consistency with anything they do. And then all of a sudden they'll see a mini fight back, but then they'll leak 3 tries 10 minutes later. So they're just so inconsistent at the moment.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about the predictions, I'm sure I'm sure I said Catalans were gonna do Saints. I can't remember who said. I think you said it, Gaz. To be fair, what is it? Yeah, they are very much a bit of a yo-yo team, as I like to say. They're not hitting the highs, are they? You know, it's just a poor season. But I mean, like I say, there's a lot of teams that are like that this season. And it's just who's the worst of the lot, really. I don't know. Some weeks, some weeks the bottom of the league is okay, and then the third bottom are playing the worst. It's such a random season because these 14 teams, you know, we've got these 2 extra teams, haven't we? So it's like you've got a couple of bottom at league teams in table, and Catalans are probably in that mix. Yeah, I just don't see him I don't see him winning a lot more games, if I'm being honest.
No, I mean, if there's anybody who's watching who wants to make a comment about the Catalan Dragons, I'm going to say something here now, and you two shoot me down as well as everybody else watching. Are Catalan Dragons so inconsistent because they're not a team? Individuals are trying to do bits on their own and maybe forcing things.
Yeah,
I
it's been
just
like that for a long
don't see
time.
where the word cohesion and connection comes to mind with them, because there's none of it. And the good things that they do is normally from an individual, not as a team collective, you know, type of performance. So would you say that's a fair reflection, Gaz, or do you think I'm being a bit harsh there?
No, I think that's spot on, mate, because they've never had a halfback for more than 2 years, but for a long time anyway. You had James Malone, then you had Pierce, and then Dodds come in. So they've never not had a settled spine for a long time, I don't think.
No, it's just one of them. The money they've got on that cap over there, you think they'll be playing a lot better than they are. I know they've got a couple of blooding a lot of young French lads and Tarpey, Anthony, and Laguerre and all. It's just in periods rather than consistent games, really.
I think they say the thing about Catalans, and I don't know if we've always said this, but I've always said it anyway, that, you know, whether it's a fair comment or not, they do tend to get these Aussies, don't they? Because it suits the weather suits them and all this stuff. Like, you know, Catalans going and signing a high class player from NRL. There's a more of a high chance of them signing for Catalans there is for Leeds, Rovers, St Helens, and, you know, that's fine. But they're not doing that, other than not
south of France or M62. You know what I mean? It don't take a genius to work it out, does it?
No, it don't.
I think it's one of them. I think John Cartwright's alluded to that as well recently in his interviews, saying he didn't realise how difficult it would be going over to Catalan because there's a beach down the road. So when they've all finished training, they're having a bit of a social. So getting the balance right between sort of game day and training day routine, and then let's stroll across to the beach and carry on with the holiday. It must be so difficult to get for a new coach as well. Not just somebody who's been there all year. For a coach to come in last minute and try and turn the philosophies of the club and the players around. So I'm sure eventually he'll get there. But just at the moment, the Catalan Dragons are probably exactly where they need to be, and the table doesn't lie, does it, in terms of that? So yeah, but Gaz, another win for Saints, and hopefully back on the horse now.
Yeah, well, we've got a difficult game which we'll go into later on coming up next. But I think, excuse me, I think it's funny how they made a big fuss of Jed Cartwright scoring against his old man. Then he stood there with his grandchild in the interview later on.
Yeah, it was a family affair, wasn't it, at the end? That is for
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of your next week's opponents, Gaz, the Wigan Warriors, a bit of a banana skin, this one. Huddersfield Giants 10, the Wigan Warriors 24. This was an 8 p.m. kickoff. I mean, Huddersfield 10, Wigan over a few weeks back earlier on in the season, and it was very, very close until the very end of this game. I mean, we know the Wigan Warriors are strong when they want to be, but the Giants was nearly there again, Jordan, wasn't they? And we know it's been a horrific season for the Giants, but they've just got something about them that challenge Wigan, haven't they?
Yeah, I think like you do get these. It sounds funny because I'm saying this now. We'll go into mine later on, But you do get these lower teams, I'll say, with the greatest respect, the lower teams that do kind of raise the bar against these top teams. I think when you're not expecting to come out with a result, you do tend to play with a little bit more looseness about you. You say you're not expecting to win the game, so you're already going in underdogs, and sometimes that can help. So yeah, they've given it a good couple of times, haven't they? Wigan, playing Wigan this year, like I said, they didn't beat them, did they? Didn't they come close? Or
No,
did
yeah,
they beat them?
Yeah,
They beat them, didn't they? Yeah, so it's
Wigan won, but it was close for a long time. I think it was. I mean, I didn't see the game, but I've seen most of the highlights. I'm pretty sure it was 10-12 for quite a long time.
yeah,
I think it was 10-all for a while, wasn't it?
10-all.
Yeah, I was watching my beloved St Helens. That's why I didn't see
Your beloved St Helens.
Watching a team win this week.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, but they seem to have this little thing with Huddersfield where they can get up for Wigan, but they can't get up for, not all due respects, the Castlefords and the York Knights of this world, etc. So it's very, 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 very peculiar. And I bet Jim Lenihan's thinking, well, we can get up for Wigan, but we can't get up for the teams in the round.
I think that was down to fitness in the end.
Yeah, it certainly. It seems like that. If it's going into the depths of the game before Wigan sort of, nick it at the end. I know the scoreline probably doesn't reflect the effort Huddersfield Giants put in, but it was very, very close for a long period of time. I mean, it's difficult with Huddersfield, Jordan, isn't it? Because the rock bottom of the league, I think they've got 4 points. If I'm led to believe, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where's their next win coming from?
It's hard, isn't it? We were talking about this before. I think when they do get it, or if they get it, I think it'll kind of give them a bit of confidence, because I can't remember now. What it about 6 weeks ago now when they went on that bit of a run, and I think it was just after Robinson got let go, didn't he? And they had what's his name now? Liam Finn.
Oh,
And they went like 3 games or something, didn't they? And they were playing with so much confidence, and it shows that they have got it in them. It's just like I've been saying previously, like, they don't tend to sign players, where they need to sign them. They go out and spend money on Burgess, and it's, they haven't really got much of a 6 and 7. Do you know what I mean? They don't really play very well together. There's just not a lot of chemistry going on, and they're struggling. Like I'd probably have Gay guy. Is it Gay guy? Guy. I'd probably have him at Leeds. To be fair, I think he's quality. I just think they're losing that in other areas where they're not as strong. Do you know what I mean? And it only takes a few injuries as well, and they're not quite there. So it's another one for me. I think they need to kind of after the season's finished, they need to go out and check the team and maybe put some real signings in there and really give it a go. I just think at the moment it's pure survival, and they'll give it a go, but they're not. Like I said, there's not really there to see them out. Is there in games?
No,
so it becomes down his invitation, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just about to ask you guys. It's like I know Huddersfield haven't been great in the rock bottom of the league, and was looking at the points difference before we come on air, weren't we? And they're so far away from the rest, even though there's a few other poor sides down there at the moment. But like, do they just need to see this as a bit of a cup run now? Every game's a cup final time, and just see where they end up and how much points they get between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, there's no use looking for this game in about 3 weeks is winnable. So, well, no, let's just go into this game and play our bollocks off, basically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and saying that, they play the Knights at weekend, so we're on about where their next wing might come from now. If that is going to happen, they need to beat teams in and around them, like we discussed earlier. So stranger things have happened. We'll hold and sort of wait where their next win comes from. Just a quick word on the Wigan Warriors. We know when they're not playing great, Jordan, they can get the job done 9 times out of 10. That's exactly what it was. I mean, Teenage Warrior, I seen something on his TikTok. He want best players at half time. He was getting all angry and frustrated, and as he said in the comments a minute ago, switched off like a light bulb. But ultimately, we got the job done, didn't we?
Yeah, well, this is thing, with Wigan. They're not always polished, are they, with how they play. But the results kind of explain everything, don't they? We always know they're going to be thereabouts. They're going to be right. They're going to be there right to end, aren't they? That goes without saying. Whether it's a semi-final or a grand final spot, you definitely would put them there, wouldn't you? It's more of a shock that if they don't get there than if they do, because you're kind of expecting it, aren't you? They just they just know what they're doing, don't they? They have them players, bring players in. Everyone's banging from the same drum. Don't matter how many injuries they have, they do seem to find the way to get over the line, and it just shows you how, like Saints are going through it now with their academy. It shows you how strong academies are, that are helping them kind of get those wins. And, people like Eckersley and that's come through. Obviously, can't fault the lad. So, everyone's playing really well, and, it's showing.
Yeah, and also I'm led to believe in the next 3 to 4 weeks, they get Walters back, they get Insemba back, they get French back, and there was another one. I can't remember what the fourth one was. So basically, they're going to come right. We know exactly how they'll come right at the end of the season, don't they? They always fall in line with the playoffs looming. Teenage Warriors put there. He gets that the win is a win, but feels like we played like we didn't want to win. Now, hey, every supporter's entitled to the opinion, and sometimes it comes across like that. But I'm pretty sure nobody in that Wigan Warriors side wouldn't want to win any game that they play, let alone when they were trying to get one back off Huddersfield at the pinch on earlier on the season. So fair play for that comment. Yep, so Saturday's games, fellas. The Warrington Wolves, Hull KR, Hull FC, the Leigh Leopards, Toulouse and York Knights. I'll do this a little bit different this week, sorry. I'm not going to have my take on Rovers just yet. Guys, I'm going to come to you. The Warrington Wolves versus Hull KR, 34-12 in favour of the Wolves. I mean, independent view, mate. Just give us your thoughts on that game, mate, as an outsider looking in.
I think there was frustration within the KR team there, and I think that discipline let them down quite a bit. It's just weird. It's just not. There's a disconnect within that 13 or 17, whichever way you want to put it. But I'm not going to sit here and say they're dumb, because I don't believe that they are. I think they've still got a say in these playoffs. But and again, like Warrington, I mean, I don't necessarily believe they're playing to their potential at the minute. They're not looking great, but it's a tough one to call, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if that was a bad day at the office for KR or Warrington were just exceptional. Maybe a bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah, Jordan, how did you see that, mate? And is there anything that stood out, which was really bad for Rovers and really good for the Wire?
Well, I just think, the Warrington were building from last week. They were very, very unlucky against Wigan. I did say that I thought they were a better team last week. They kind of switched off during the last 15 minutes or so. I just put it down. As they were coming. They had to beat Rovers at some point. You've had them twice. You had them in Challenge Cup final. You had them in semi-final, and you've had them both. The only thing that I'm a bit confused with is the fact that they haven't got their natural halfbacks. So for me, when you're looking at the Warrington team going into a game, I'm looking at it and I'm going like that. You got Hayes, Irwin. There's no Sneed. There's no George Williams. I'm kind of looking at it and going, I don't know where they're going to make these tries come from, because these are really young players.
I think what else in that situation, Jordan, for him is that these two halfbacks know each other well. from
Yeah.
the academy. So
Yeah.
they'll be playing their game. You know what I mean? So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's just an odd one. It's just an odd one. I think because Rovers are kind of lost that fire in the belly as well. Obviously, I'll come on to my own team when we come on to it, but you know, these top teams, they are, you know, we have had a struggle this weekend. Rovers were struggling last week, and you know, it showed this week that you've done the same. So I don't know. It's an odd one for me. I'm a bit like Gaz. I'm a bit confused because I don't know where they're going. I don't know. They do seem to, at the moment, lie down and give up a little bit easier than usual. And I don't know if that's a fair comment, Karl. I just don't know what's going on.
I'll put it this way: there's the reason why there's people paid to analyse games and we're not. So we
tell you-
just top bollocks on it, don't we?
I tell you one person that's going, and that's Willie Peters, straight to P&G. And I want to be. People can say I'm controversially, but as I say every week, I'm saying what I see. I think he's already halfway there. If I'm
I said that the other week, didn't I?
Because the first time in a long time, he's made some poor choices with his bench. I mean, at weekend, he's putting Jack Broadbent on the bench when he should be starting him at centre and having Rhys Martin come off the bench to play second row. He's carried Broadbent on the bench for 2 weeks now. Now, when you need to turn to that bench, Rhys Martin goes off, Broadbent comes on because he's getting absolutely ripped a new one down the left edge. Prevent that from the beginning and don't pay somebody who plays second row centre. Rhys Martin is not the type of centre where he's as mobile as others. James Batchelor's mobile. Dean Adley's mobile. Rhys Martin's not mobile. And I think he got that decision wrong. He's got a few things wrong, in my opinion, in recent weeks. And when things are going against you, it comes down on you like a ton of bricks, doesn't it? So you get one decision wrong, you end up escalating it and getting 5 and 6 decisions wrong. And that's not just from the coaching staff, that's from the players on the field as well. I mean, we all know what Mikey did. Stupid, brain dead, call it what you want. Absolutely ridiculous. And whether he wears the colours of my club or not, I'd never defend anything like that. And ultimately, Rovers got exactly, and I mean exactly, what they deserved. And there was luckily not to find themselves more points down as well towards the back end of that game.
It's like what I was saying the other week, and you know, I don't mean it the way it comes across when I say this, but like, you know, when I was saying before, when I says you did all the trophies in one season, like from what I'm seeing now this year, it's like if you'd have just won the Challenge Cup last year, and then kind of build upon that, you know, and then like say you have the season you're having now, it wouldn't be too bad because you're like, oh yeah, well, you know, we won a trophy last year. I feel like in all Rovers fans' heads, and probably every neutral, is world champions are 7th. Like what they're doing there, they've had a really bad season. It's like, yeah, but they haven't won the world. They're not champions like 3 seasons in a row. They've only just done it once. Like they've only just done it. They are allowed to have bad games, but everybody's expecting them to win all the time and continue from last season. And I don't know whether a lot of people are kind of expecting them to win all the time, if that makes sense. And having like a different image in their head.
It makes perfect sense because when off the back of the 4 in a row that we did when Paul Wellens took over, and people were saying, "Oh, they fell away and you know they're falling apart again." But we got to 2 semi-finals. We got to 2 playoff semi-finals under Wellens, so it looks worse than it is because of what you've done previous. Whereas if you just won the Challenge Cup and you say you finish second or whatever, got to the semi-final, it doesn't look half as bad as it does after winning the lot.
It's like I say, you everybody knows who's watching. You guys know how much I like Rovers. It don't fill me with, you know, happy thoughts to say the things I'm saying, but it's like they've shell shocked themselves. Like they've won everything. and Willie Peters is going all of a sudden. You know, it's like it's almost like, oh, I've won everything now. I'm off, right? Everyone can deal with it when I go. We've got players leaving, retiring. You're having injury problems. You're having to swap people around. It's just not the Rovers from last year, and I don't know whether that fire in the belly has gone because they've done it already. Do you know what I mean? And we all know they deserved everything last year. They deserved everything. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say they didn't. I'm just saying that there were no build on the trophies. They just, I think they did themselves over, if that makes sense, Karl. And I don't mean it that way. If that's coming across bad.
No, he's spot on. He's spot on in what you're saying, Jordan. Like, the only thing that really, really disappoints me is like, there's no question that the players are putting effort in. There's no question that, you know, they're running hard, they're tackling as best as they can. It's not a question of effort. For me, it's the cohesion. They're not as connected as there was last year. Now, whether that's because people are leaving or not, obviously we don't on a daily basis with them. But what you're seeing on a game day, and especially me, I'm seeing on a game day teams coming straight for the middle of us. Now, that's not the Rovers' way.
No,
the
it's
last
not.
3 or 4 years. I've sat here for the last 3 or 4 weeks and I've banged on about basic error, basic fundamentals of the game, forward passes, throwing the ball into touch. Now, when Rovers got beat the other night, and rightly so, there was the WhatsApp group was ping, ping, ping every 2 minutes. And somebody in that WhatsApp group said it was something to do with tactics, or I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Tactics, she should have played there. It's not tactics, because it doesn't matter who's playing hooker or who's playing left centre. You'll throw the ball into touch, or you throw it forward, or you knock on the ball when you're catching it. That's nothing to do with tactics.
I think they got
fundamentals of rugby league.
I think they got confused there, mate. They meant Thomas Tuchel's.
Oh, behave. Do you know what? I just want to touch on this here, Bazza. What Bazza just said there.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say.
I don't think you've overachieved too much too soon, because I think didn't you get to 2 Challenge Cup finals before you finally won it? There's one against.
We've also played a lot of semi-finals as well.
Yeah, so you
grand final
built towards it. I think it's just you've got to the point where you've built this team, and a lot of them are starting to get on a bit, and you're going into a transition now. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, I'll just part this up very quickly because I want to touch on Warrington, because there was decent as well. Let's not forget that. I just think Rovers need to get back to the basics, and probably the perfect game they need next is the game that's coming up on Thursday night, the Hull derby. I mean, form goes out the window, and all it takes is one good win for both teams to get their seasons back on track. Warrington, Gaz, they've been playing a lot of youngsters recently, and it's probably the best I've seen the likes of Leon Hayes play. Obviously, you know, they really, really stood up for the Warrington side, didn't they? Danny Walker was quick out of dummy half again. And, so, you know, I don't think Warrington was perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they certainly had one over on Rovers at weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of people outside of Warrington have been saying for a long time now where they keep trying to bring in this big name signing who do you think is going to change the game. You know, they started with Johns, you know, they brought in Langer. Excuse me, and it's gone on and on. Now that they're bringing in these young players, they're starting to be a team, and that's where all these wins have been coming from. In my opinion,
never seen this with Warrington, have you?
No, and this is what I'm saying.
No.
It's about time they started doing it, because obviously they've got a plethora of great young players there.
Yeah, well, we've been seeing, like I said a second ago, we've been seeing these youngsters come in, and then in recent weeks they haven't quite got the spoils, but I think you can see they've played a few games together now, and no Monso against Rovers at weekend, and I think they was rewarded for that, for digging in and keeping together the last few weeks. So hey, don't get me wrong, I don't think Warrington will get to the grand final or anything like that, but if they can carry on improving, who knows, they might get to a semi. I certainly see him in the playoffs. It's just if he keeps with his philosophies and see how far these youngsters can get him.
It goes to show, because when they signed Lee Breers from Saints, very young, very wet behind the ears still, went there, couldn't become arguably one of their best ever players. from bringing in a young lad who they've nurtured and moulded, and look what say what he achieved it with a title. But yeah, when you got these young players and you play them together, look what happens.
Yeah, that's it. And fair play to Warrington, like you say, they came up with a 34-12 victory over Hull Kingston Rovers. The 5:30 kickoff was the Black and Whites of Hull FC versus Lee Leopards. That was 22-32 in favour of the Leopards. I mean, a really, really strange game. This now, I know the Lee got the win, Gordon, but I'm not. Yeah, exactly that. I know Lee got the win, but I'm not sure Adrian Lamb would have been happy after the full-time hooter because, if my memory serves me correctly, Lee Leopards raced into a 28 point, sort of lead by half-time, and surely the game should have been done and dusted, but obviously Hull fought back, Jordan. What do we make of that one?
Yeah, it wasn't the only game. The game straight after were exactly the same. Both were 28-0 at half time, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you are.
And both this game and the one after that you're going to mention, both happened basically carbon copy of what the opposite team did. Obviously, we'll go into mine after. But they.
How many times are you going to say that? We'll go into mine after.
Because I've got a big rant to come on
this weekend.
Oh, bloody hell.
We
haven't got all night. Some of us are up at 5:15, John. Don't go too mad.
Yeah, it were a done and dusted game, wasn't it? It were, they were done were the Black and Whites, and they managed to scrape back in. You get these teams, don't you, that kind of just switch off, and that's what Lee did. They should have just carried on playing and turning that 28 points into more points and kind of kept going from there. But when you've got a team that know they need to start performing and playing, excuse me, they they didn't have no to lose. They just had to keep going, and they were very fortunate to get back in it and not win the game. So fair play to Lee for holding out.
Yeah, I mean, Gaz, he said a second ago, game of two halves. Now, who's going to be happy? Obviously, Lee got the win, so there's an obvious answer there. But what I'm trying to get at, would Hull be more happy with their second half, or would Lee be more happy with their first half? Because it's a really strange affair, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd say Hull, to be honest, because they've shown that obviously they were pretty much down the dumps at half time. Then second half, it's just a complete different side. So they're showing that they can play some rugby league and they can compete with what you consider a top team. So I think it's going to give third players more confidence than it is Lee.
Yeah, I bet Adrian Lamb's absolutely scratching his head that it's at the time of the season now where they need to be trying to be positive, be consistent with their performances going into the back end, Jordan. It must have been going like that at full time, thinking, how do we save that up in one half and then not save that up in the second half?
Well, it's one of those, isn't it? It's depending on how you look at the game, Hull had no right to come back in that, did they? But it's like I say, there's a couple of games that are very similar. I think when you've got a team that wants to come back into it, sometimes you can't do what about it. It's it can take a couple of penalties to get you downfield. It could take a couple of errors on Lee's part or whichever. A couple of captain's challenges go your way, and the game can change on its head. It doesn't take much really, but yeah, I'm sure he'll be disappointed with that. He'll be happy to get the win because it's still a win at the end of the day, and they're still getting that table, climbing up that table. But I think, I don't think he'll be too fussed about that, if I'm being fair, because they've had a good few weeks of Leopards. I think that's the first one that they've actually come close with. So I think he'll just rub that off as a bad game or a tougher game than probably expected. And then just kind of go on for next week.
Yeah, I mean, Baz is saying there in the comments that Lee had a lot of players missing. That don't wash with me. They still had the likes of Mpape, Leo, senior players, Josh Charnley, Adrian Lamb, Lockie Lamb. Yeah, they probably did have a couple missing, but they're far better,
Listen,
better
we
than
went
Hull
into that
FC.
Catalan game with 15 players out and still got a win. So, and I said it last week after getting battered by Toulouse, injuries are no excuse. You should have enough there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What Steph's saying here, the only team to beat Lee in the last 12 weeks. I am happy to get with 2 points. Was Hull KR? Well, at the minute, Steph, Hull KR couldn't beat an egg, so I won't worry about that too much, mate. That is for
Does
sure.
Does that mean that Saints played them 13 weeks ago?
Must have done.
Been counting there, Steph.
That's it. But ultimately, it was job done for Leopards, wasn't it? And I bet Adrian Lang couldn't get on that coach quick enough to get out of the west side of Hull. Because, like I say, they dodged a bullet in one respect. The 9 p.m. kickoff, which was 9 p.m. obviously France time, 8 p.m. UK time, was Toulouse 30, the York Knights 22. As you touched on a minute ago, Jordan, Toulouse raced into a 28-point lead, and then there was like a mini fight back in the second half from the York Knights. Ultimately, Gaz, York could just give herself too much to do.
Yeah, and again, it reiterates what we've been saying about York all season. They never seem to be out of a game, do they? They've always got some sort of a fight back going on.
Yeah, it's just mad, isn't it? The way these teams have little periods in games where they're so good but so poor as well. I mean, it's one of them, isn't it?
Go on, Baz. We'll throw that on there. We'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
Mystery boxing.
Oh God. Sorry, I've lost my trail of thought now because our comedian in the comments keeps putting me off, and he's here all night. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, Ashelbot again doing his stuff, and he assist, try scoring his. I know we've got a long way to go to the World Cup, but surely he's on the thoughts of
he's got to be.
Ryan
He's
Jordan.
got to be in McDermott's thoughts. He's got to be.
You imagine no disrespect to Toulouse, but you imagine putting him in a Wigan side or a Leeds side at the moment. Now, this isn't a dig at Leeds Rhinos or Lockie Miller by the way, Jordan. But if you put Oli Ashelbot in the Leeds Rhinos fullback position, it would be as good, if not better, at the moment than Lockie Miller.
Yeah, 100%. They're very similar, aren't they? They're both very good with ball, and they like to find the spaces and utilize gaps and stuff. Like they can make a break out of nowhere, and that's very much what we need. Like I said, I do feel like he needs to bring out a second team and add these extra players in and kind of give them a chance to show what they can do as well. I don't know what team it was. Were it a training team or something he announced?
Yeah, training squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, training squad. Like they need to add more in there, I think, and give the chance of say Bot to get in the mix and at least have that chance. He's a quality player. He's a quality player. Like I say, I still feel the size of him could be a struggle with obviously under the eye bomb. When you play against Kiwis, Aussies, it would be hard. I can see a lot of Aussies climbing over him with those bombs. But, unfortunately, you can't give him some potion to make him bigger, can you? So he's a good whippet player and he's very good, yeah. Yeah, basically. That's all I have to say.
And for Toulouse, guys, that's 3 wins on the spin now. I mean, Sylvain got interviewed at the end of the game, and it must be difficult for him to keep his composure because they spent a lot of years yo-yoing, haven't they, between leagues and being inconsistent. And last time they was in Super League, they was getting pretty much smashed every week. He's finally built something which seems to be worth holding on to. And you could tell he wanted to get exciting in his interview, but he just had to keep himself grounded. So it must be really, really holding back. But they absolutely deserve where they are at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you see what they did to Catalan and Saints like the 2 previous weeks, but yeah, it seems to be like clicking and gelling now, doesn't it? It's there now. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna predict something here, and you both actually might agree with me. I bet by the end of the season Toulouse are higher than Bradford.
They already are, aren't they?
I think. Or if they are, they'll stay there. I think we've said out of all the promoted teams, I said that I thought Bradford would be the highest. But I think Toulouse of the last few weeks have, like Gaz said, they've gelled. They've found a bit of a formation formula going forward. You know, they're doing really well. I think they're going to continue, and I wouldn't be shocked if they beat a bigger team. So the match I'm going to, the Edenley with Leeds and Toulouse, I'm now worried about that game now. Come end of month, that might be a
buzzer.
That's another thing, though, Jordan.
That's a strong one, that buzzer.
What's that? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think there's some very emotional calls getting thrown around in that comment section tonight. The only thing, going back to what you said there, John, the only thing that would concern me a little bit for Toulouse is I don't have all their remaining fixtures to hand, but if they've got a couple of away trips on the bounce, that might be the difference between finishing below Bradford or finishing above them. So I'm pretty sure we'll find. Obviously, time will tell, and we'll find out. York Knights, they'll come again. Again, they're obviously steady sort of building, and they'll come again for sure. And they never go away, like Gaz says.
Karl, funny you say that. They've got Catalan at home this week. Then they've got Leeds and Wigan away.
Yeah, exactly. All it takes is a couple of
at home and then KR away. So they haven't got they haven't got a great run up.
No, it's all the fixtures are dealt, aren't they? But that can make, especially for the travelling French teams, it can make a massive difference. You know how their season finishes. Can't it? So we'll see how that one goes. Jordan, there was a small matter of Sunday's game. The Castleford Tigers 36, the Leeds table-topping Rhinos 34. Mate, this game ebbed and flowed. Leeds was winning it, Castleford was winning it. Then they give a chance to each other team to win it. I mean, what a crazy game, mate. Just give us your overriding emotion of that result.
Go to say before Jordan starts ranting. Game of the round for me.
Yeah, 100%. Please don't cry.
Don't cry. I thought Leeds were really good in that first half. You know, we went 16-0 up. It was very much Rhinos are here again. You know, we're kind of continuing and playing like we should be. You know, played very well. Scored, I think, after a minute with McDonnell, which that just said everything. I thought it could be a really big game, this big score game. The only thing I will say for Leeds is when Danny Levi got injured, there was some stuff going around in back play where I know Leeds didn't have a recognised hooker on the bench. That definitely changed things for the Rhinos. Will I use it as an excuse? No, I won't. I do believe though that did knock maybe a little bit of confidence out the Rhinos because we didn't have that quickness off the hooking half, which obviously Danny Levi is being really good at this season. We're very sluggish from there going forward. I will honestly say, hand on heart, I'm a strong believer in a team that if they want to come back and give it was a perfect game for Castleford. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. They took the chances when they had them. I don't look at that result and think they got spawny in any way. You know, where they were like, maybe that try they scored at the end where it would have done for obstruction. I do feel that were an obstruction, but then they got a penalty to make it 30 apiece, and then obviously scored straight after with my favourite winger. I had to credit them. I have to credit them. Yes, I'm really angry and frustrated that Leeds didn't win the game, but I can't also moan because Rhinos have won quite a lot of games in the last few weeks. You know, they've won quite a lot on bounce. We're top at league. It were going to happen at some point. Yeah, I would have preferred Wigan, Rovers beating us, St Helens beating us, Castleford's a bit of a kick in teeth, but end of the day, we switched off, and they wanted to come back, and they did it. And fair play to them. Fair play to them. I'm really proud of Castleford for the effort that they gave. And they should be proud of themselves because that won't have been easy to come back into that game. And I thought they were fantastic. So well played.
Very noble of you. I mean, Gaz, Castleford did a number on yourselves a few weeks ago. Now they've done a number on the Rhinos. We know Ryan Carr comes out and likes to have his two pennies worth with officials, etc. But you've got to give him some credit this week, mate, haven't you?
Yeah, you have to remind me that day would have fell flat on my face on Sky Sports, won't you?
I
well
won't
deserved, money.
directing against that, but yeah, we'll talk about it if you like.
Yeah, no, I was well deserved, wasn't it? And again, it's since that game, Cass have been a lot better. They've been in games more, and as you can see, they can pull off an upset like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
thing is,
special mentions for Jack Brown as well. He hasn't been at Castle for too long. He had a really, really good game yesterday and made some big differences. So fair play to him. Sorry, Jordan, what were you saying, pal?
No, I was just saying that it weren't the only game this weekend. Like say you've got the black and whites, York, even the league game, and our game. I think when you're behind and you're behind by quite a bit, like say the pressure's off you, probably not favourites to win the game anyway. Because I would have loved to have known what Karl was saying in that dressing room, because it were abysmal that first half by Castleford. But I'm a strong believer in that, and I can't say anything. Leeds switched off. It's a good thing for the game, in my opinion, where you've got a team who are top at league, they're winning convincingly a lot in the season. They're putting a minimum of 34, 35 points against teams a game, and they did that again, and then decided to park the bus, if you want to say, and Castleford wanted to come back, and 1 week you might get a team that doesn't give that, and Leeds probably go on and win that game. But Castleford decided to come back, and full credit to them. And I hope it does kick them off the season, and they do more. Because I can't fault that effort. That was just perfect. Very weird game. I will say very weird game, because I know at second half Leeds came back and put a couple of tries back in, and it kind of edged it. And I thought 30-16, Leeds kind of, shut up shop, and it were like, all right, we might actually win this game now. And then they dropped off again. So, yeah, it's one of those. I thought Cass were fantastic and full deserved.
Yeah, they did, mate. And one thing that stood out for me as well, Connor, he had an off game, didn't he? And more often than not, when Connor has an off game, so do the Leeds Rhinos. Luckily for yourself, you're top of the league, and it hasn't happened very much this season. So I know it's easy for me to sit here and say, but they're entitled to a bad game, mate. Let's be honest. They've all had it, haven't they? Every team has a bad game. Car calling Russia cheating, effing alive on Sky. Priceless.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Sale. It's credit to Cass, though. I mean, some random comments coming in tonight. There's one here from Teenage Warrior, and he says, speaking of Tony the Tiger, last time I was away at Cass, he ended up having beef with me. What's all that about?
It could be worse. You fell flat on your face on that pitch, wouldn't you?
I do have to say though, lads. I'm not great. I'm not a fan of Carr. I'll be honest. He's very much. I know McDermott will criticise a lot at Rhinos, but when he came out and had his interview, we were very, he were very not nice with his words, and
very cocksure, isn't he?
Yeah, he was, and I think when you rewind it back to the first half, like the comment was saying, it was swearing, it would, you could hear him from the stand, and then next minute, at end of game, he'll have been bumming his players. So 1 minute he's effing and jeffing at them, and then next minute he'll be up the backside. So you can't, you know what I mean? It's one of them. But And then he goes on Sky and then starts saying about, oh, that should have been a try. Yeah, no, that were a try. The obstruction, no, that were definitely a try. And it's like, mate, you won the game. Just take it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those. I'm not a fan.
Some people just like to moan in life, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They do, don't they, Jordan?
From now on, can we refer to Ryan Carr as Buzz Lightyear?
Yeah.
You know. Ultimately, as Kev says in the comments here, great comeback by Cass. Fully deserved the 2 points. Jordan, whip us that table up, mate, and let's see how we stand. Oh, still top of the shop, mate. It's not all bad, is it? Rhinos up top of the shop with 30 points, and then you've got Wigan and Wakefield on 28, Warrington on 26, Lee and St Helens on 24 points, holding the playoff positions. Obviously, there's been no change for weeks and weeks at the bottom in terms of Huddersfield Giants. They're propping up the league at the minute with Hull FC, Bradford, York, and Castleford nearby. Yeah, so we are shaping up nicely.
It does
for most.
It does help, Karl. I think I said this last week. It does help that there's a little bit of a buffer between you and Catalans. So it's almost like you can't be any lower than 7 right now. Obviously, you don't want to be there, but it's nice to know that you're not, 2 points behind 8 and 9. So if you can kind of get back on that winning ladder, you're straight back in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, mate. But yeah, it's shaping up after 19 games. Obviously, we keep saying it, don't we? Warrington play Hull KR in August in that rearranged game from earlier on in the season. We've got another comment here from Gary Lee. I know of Gary. I'll be seeing Gary Lee tomorrow night. Imagine if there was still relegation, FC and the Giants would be already done. It's a fair point, but it's not. So we're playing to the current rules.
The Giants definitely.
Yeah, I think Huddersfield, yeah.
Yeah, that is for sure. Moving on swiftly, fellas. We've seen the table and updated that. Jordan, I know there's going to be loads of people watching and listening to this thinking, thank God it's not going to be a full team of Rhinos this week. Shows your team of the week, pal. And let's see if you really do reward and credit people with good weekly performances.
Right. Here's my team of the week for round 19.
Done. Stats are in, the battles won, crunching tackles, tries galore. We rate the very best on the floor, from fullback deep to the front row pride. Here's who stood out side by side.
What, John? I was going to give you an hiding then. So I thought you'd put Walmsley in the team the week he's out injured.
Hey, don't worry about you'll give him an hiding. Teenage Warrior in the comments. He's giving Jordan an hiding here. Big time he's put. Was there any need to put a red cross over Zach Eckersley? Josh, it's like the X Factor on this programme, so...
No, basically, the explanation between that war... they're the players that were originally picked. So Eckersley was picked, and Shorrocks were picked for 7. And then basically, when I watched the other games, they then jumped them. So I just wanted to make it be known that Gary jumped Eckersley, even though Eckersley scored an hat-trick. And then obviously with the performance with Leeds, with Weaver, I thought he jumped Shorrocks. But Shorrocks was 7 for me this week, and then he jumped him. So that's just me being a bit cheeky and just kind of just showing you that they were thought of, but they got overtaken.
By the bloody hell.
It's a fair one. Gaz, come on, mate. Who are you swapping? Who are you swapping and why?
So if I haven't got that many arguments, if I'm going to be honest, I probably would have kept Eckersley in there, but I get Gary's going the winning try as well. So it's very grown up of you, that one, Jordan. But
yeah,
I think Gary Lee's right. Minchelli don't look the same player he was, but I don't think any other 13 stood out that much. So I get it.
Do you like the fact that I put Campbell in there?
Yes, good boy.
Yeah.
And Joe, of all the things he's done this week, this is the biggest one. Jordan's team of the week.
That's it. Well, to be fair, you get a lot of debate and feedback from your team of the week, Jordan. And obviously, when Rhinos have been winning every single week, it's difficult to oversee that and overlook it, isn't it? So, I mean, if there's anybody in the comments who thinks, right, so-and-so should be in, or he should be in, or he should be out, drop us a comment. So let us know who you think should be replaced by Jordan's selections, by all means. But yeah, fair play to you, mate. You're very unbiased this week, for sure.
Hey, Josh,
Yeah, I mean,
Josh, don't start on me, Josh. I actually wanted XC in there.
Yeah, Cameron's betting. No, just to answer Baz's question, yeah, Connor did play well. Yeah, his goal kicking were off. It wasn't the reason being that. I just thought there were better halfbacks this week. I thought Brodie Croft deserved to be there because by the result of the game, of the Castleford game, obviously the players in the first half were fantastic. I thought Cam Smith, McDonald were electric, and Brodie Croft were fantastic as well. So that's why they're in there. But for me, Connor didn't deserve to be in there this week, and that's just kind of how I've done it.
No, that's a fair. That is a fair point. That is for sure. Right, that's your team of the week out the way, Jordan. Gaz, I know you do a try every week, so who is your try, mate?
Go then. Play that VT there, Jordan, please.
I won't when I can find it. There you go.
The radar. Seat goes for the attempted kick, and it's gobbled up there pretty easily by James McDonald, and off to Croft. Croft into the corner. Brodie Croft will go all the way here for the Leeds Rhinos, and once again they turn defence into attack, and boos ringing around the One Ball Stadium because the home fans do not like the performance that the Tigers are putting up in this first stage of the game.
Well, they are playing with a great deal of confidence, yes, but there's some smarts in there as well. Really well done by McDonald. Brodie Croft gets the head down, and there's nobody who can live with him over 60 metres.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I wanted to put Jack Campbell in there just for that flip past from Sailor, but to turn it round like that quick, turning the defence into attack, and then having the pace to go all the way there, I think it's a fair one.
Do you know the only? I mean, what a great try, obviously. But do you know the one I would have picked? I'd have picked the Sivo try, just for that sidestep.
No, also that.
Don't you think he's got enough tries this season?
He has.
Yeah.
To be fair though, you've got to agree with me with this. You've got to agree with me, lads. That's the first try he scored that he's actually done something with it.
Yeah,
he normally walks in, doesn't he? He normally walks the tries in. That was the first time I've seen. This first time I've seen him actually go for it.
No, it's a fair call, mate. But you have to be outstanding to get Gaz's try of the week. So unfortunately, just didn't make the cut this week. Did big Maiko Sivo.
Yeah,
but I'm sure he'll score plenty of other tries, which will be up for Gaz's team try of the week selection. Sorry. That's the good, Gaz. I know you love a bit of bad, so let's get on to Bad Lads Corner.
Ooh. Right, so I think Karl and Baz are going to have something to say about this when I'm done, and feel free to. James McDonnell, grade B late contact on passer, 3 penalty points and a fine. Caleb Hammond-Ulay, if I've ever said that right, I don't bloody know. You know what I'm like. Grade A late contact on passer, 1 penalty point and a fine. Jack Ormonroyd, grade B dangerous contact, 3 penalty points and a fine. Nichols, the naughtiest boy of the lot this week. Mikey Lewis, grade E headbutt, 18 penalty points and a 3-match suspension. Mikey Lewis again, grade C late contact on passer, 5 penalty points and a suspension and a fine. Solomona Fatape, grade A late contact on passer, 1 penalty point, no further action. Josh Allen, grade B head contact, 3 penalty points and a fine. Tom Inman,
Excuse me.
grade A late contact on passer, 1 penalty point, no further action. Keane McDermott, grade B head contact, 15 penalty points, a 2-match suspension and a fine. And Tana Milner, grade E unnecessary contact with injured player, 18 penalty points, 3-match suspension and a fine. Jesus. So a lot of players missing out for a couple of games there.
Can I just can I ask about Mikey Lewis? What exactly amount of bans has he got there then? Because I was working.
So he got 3 matches for the headbutt and 1 for the late contact.
So he's got 4.
Yeah. So, Karl, what are your thoughts on that? He's got 4 matches. Kevin.
Anybody that puts the Hull Kingston jersey, Rovers jersey on is always credited and thought very highly of myself. But in saying that, this lad's got to start changing. These things he's doing, it's just going to cost him England call-ups. Are going to cost him. Basically, it's going to cost himself reaching his full potential year in, year out. But I'm just hoping now with this month off that he's going to learn some lessons and learn them the hard way.
Is it? And what Stephen said on commentary as well, is the last couple of years he's done really well to keep a lid on this. And then especially the last few games, he's really let it out again.
I mean, you can tell with the position that Rovers are in the table that obviously he has kind of lost his head a little bit. But I think when you look at what he's done now to Rovers, when there is the 7th in league, they need to climb that ladder, and now they're out. He's literally if you want to say, their main playmakers out now for a month. Lewis himself is really, really not helped his teammates there by a stupid mistake, and it's not the first time he's done that. And like Karl said, maybe it'll do him good to be out and maybe rethink about his actions. But on the field, it might have really affected Rovers' next few games.
It's a fair point you make, and I can sit on it.
Is that meant to mean tit of the week?
Can sit on here and call him all sorts, can't we? But
I'll take that as tit of the week.
Yeah. Do you know, for me, lads, it's really disappointing because as much as people dislike him, think he's a shit house and all the rest of it and a wind-up merchant, he is a really good... No, yeah, I get that. But what I'm trying to say is that he's a really good rugby league player. Now, if he's going to overshadow that by his antics, then he's going to have a very downhill career from this point, isn't he? And I just think...
And Jack Wells was the same for us.
Yeah, and I think these people, they're obviously really talented, but I can't speak on behalf of Jack Wellesby, but Mikey Lewis at the moment is a sandwich short of a picnic. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. It's cost himself, it's cost the team. So now have a month off and reflect and see if you can change your mind.
I think the thing for me, Karl, and I'm sure we'll all agree with this, if Rovers are, firing all cylinders, that doesn't happen. That's clearly frustration. That's clearly a little bit of not hitting the heights that we know they can do. They're having a bit of a struggle performance wise, and that's clear frustration. That's all that is. But for me, if you're winning games and you're kind of the Rovers that you should be, that doesn't happen for me. That's that were like it seemed deliberate to me that it would have very.
Oh, it was. It's malice, and that's why he's copped the ban he has. I mean, last year, the birth of his son, I thought, right, that's going to mature him, that's going to calm him down, and it sort of did have. But then he has these explosions
Outbursts,
that are just not needed.
The mad thing is,
explosions.
The mad thing with Michael Lewis, like, I think, was it the first set when he kicked a 40-20
in
that game, and then he goes and does that. It's like if he gets that balance, world class player, and he did have it last season, but he's either up the wall or he's like too clever for his own good at sometimes.
And you know the frustrating thing for me is as well, like, I know there's a couple of comments coming in which I'll get onto in a second. Like, he had a second chance in rugby league. When he was a young kid, nobody wanted him. Hull FC got rid of him. He was just back playing amateur. Rovers give him this opportunity. He went out to York and sort of built himself up, and then he's just not learning from his mistakes. So what's it going to take for him to turn it around? And I don't compare him to Jake Connor in a lot of ways for the reasons I've just said, but I get where Barry's come in with that. And he needs that competitive edge in his game. I get that, like Kev says there, but I just think you just can't cross the line, can you? The more the times you'll cross the line, the more times you're punishing yourself and the team. That is for sure.
It is just clarification, that though. That's all it is.
Someone else as well. I mean, listen, I took the piss earlier with my little social media post, but it's one of them, and it is. If it's the other way around, if it's Wellesby doing something like that, I'd expect it. It is what it is. But I think there is a very, very, very top class, world class player in him. He just needs to control himself.
It's just like for me,
couldn't agree more.
You know, you lost the game and you lost Lewis, so it's almost like a double whammy, isn't it? It's like, you know, it's like even with like Leeds or whoever, you know, you lose a game but you have injuries on top of it. It doesn't help. It doesn't help, and it's like, right, he can't now fix that problem for the next month because he can't play. So now he's got to sit back and let Willie Peters do his magic and try and fit a player in there that can do the same job. I don't know who Rovers have got in the fixtures. I have not. You say that again, sorry.
Arthur Moore could probably slot in at 6 there, I think.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
There's multiple options. Hampshire can play there. Lytton can go into the halves and maybe give Bill Leyland some game time. So it's not the fact there's no options. I just keep thinking to myself, like, you've just absolutely sort of jogged my memory there, Jordan. When he got sent off, the game's gone anyway.
Yeah.
So what in your mind is thinking, right, I tell you what, I'll punish myself and the lads even more by doing that. The game's gone. See the game out. Don't get yourself into any more bother than you need to and move on to next week. Again, sandwich short of a picnic, and that's why I keep referring to that, because it's brain dead rugby league, and that's what he's done. He's just head gone, bang. So as frustrating as it is, he's got exactly what he deserved. Fellas, we're going to have to move on here because I'm not talking about Michael Lewis all night. My little one's upset about it anyway because she's not going to see him for 4 weeks, but that's on him. Moving on, fellas, the Roses debate. Yeah, exactly. The Roses debate last month or so, Jordan, we've been having questions, haven't we? And it's obviously my turn now. I'm back from holiday. Roll this VT, mate, and see what the questions. Good evening, everybody. Karl here from the 2 Yorkshire for Saint Rugby League podcast. This is just regarding Monday Night Live. The Roses debate question this week will be my turn. So what I'd like to know is, and my question is, 21-man squads. Should we see that on game day rather than reducing it to 18-man squad? Obviously, we're seeing lots of HIAs, and obviously teams struggling with that in terms of numbers and then being left short on the interchange bench maybe halfway through a game. So the question is as simple as, do we keep the 21-man squads and not reduce them for game day and then obviously have them extra interchanges? I'd love to get your thoughts and comments on this. That all brings the Roses debate to fruition. So please give us your thoughts. Drop us a DM.
in the comments or whatever, whichever way you want to come across, it's fine. Just let us know. And let's get up and talking about this. Do we stick with 21-man squads right the way through to game day, or do we keep it as it is? Let's hear your thoughts.
Right, I do have a big opinion on this. Yeah, I'm going to say maybe not necessarily a 21 squad, but something needs to be in place, because I was at the Saints and Lee women's game last week, and that got called off after 62 minutes because I think 4 lead players ended up going off injured. They had no more subs left, and the referee had to call it. So the game was well gone. It was 48-6 at that point, but in a tight game or in an important game, maybe a playoff game, and a freak number of injuries happen, it's taken a team potentially out of Old Trafford. So I think there needs to be something in place where there's more. They can have this 21 players and go, right, we need to call on this. And more interchange as well. That's a good shot as well, Kev. God, knock myself. Fucking hell. Knock myself out with Mike.
HIA, interchange, please.
Interchange.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Watt, Mike on cue as well.
Perfect time.
Down to 20 men, 20 players now.
Yeah, so something needs to be. And if they're going to have these HIAs and players coming off and failing HIAs, something needs to be in where they can call upon these backup players. And I know I've got the 18th man, but it's not going to be enough, especially with how soft they are as well now, these HIAs. I mean, the gum shield's kicking off over nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something needs to be in place to keep the game going. Like, they're not like, I mean, as a whole, I mean, like a particular match.
Yeah. Jordan, how do you see it, mate? Would you ever keep it as it is, or would you back on what I'm saying?
No, I'd back up what you're saying. I'd have the full 21-man squad. Yeah, I actually would. I actually would have the full 21-man squad. So whoever's in the 21-man squad gets to be in the team, and very, very much more than so, they will probably end up playing. I think that activation of the 18th man, I think that can go then, because you'll have enough players, already there. So I'm sure Leeds did it at the weekend. I'm sure we activated Littlewood as the 18th man, obviously, when Danny Levi went off. I'm not too sure whether he played. I can't remember, if I'm being honest. But it were, yeah, for me, I'd have it as a 21 and keep it that way, because, like you say, like Gaz said, excuse me, a lot of HIAs are I wouldn't say soft, but like you do, they have the gum shield, don't they, as well, and the high shots of I think basically every high shot's an HIA. What's going on here? Ross Kemp's war on microphones.
Oh God, what a laugh!
God.
No, you make a good point there, Jordan, because there's a few people in the comments here which I'm catching up on that. Gaz makes a good point about maybe limiting it to 8 interchanges, but even if you limit it, don't mean you have to use them interchanges. It's just there as an option. So if you went with a 21-man squad, you don't need to play them all. They're just there as an option. And then
that's what I mean.
If the reserve team's got a game the following day, there's no reason why they can't play in that.
No. So I'd have the 21-man squad, and I'd up the bench, up the interchanges. So there's a chance that those players can get played. So that's what I would do. Yeah. To be fair, I've never actually agreed with a 21-man squad. I always think it's a bit harsh when you've announced a squad for a week and then you get a few that kind of miss out. So I think it's a perfect time with everything going on with HIAs. I think it's a perfect time to kind of put that in and use it as like an advantage for both, for everybody in the game, if I'm being honest. So I think, I would agree with that.
So just a couple of comments. I got a bit of feedback on Facebook. Andy Ray on Facebook, he says, interchanges I like, and definitely would allow more for bench options. Michelle Law, she on Facebook, she says, keep it as it is. Too much messing around with the rules year in, year out. I mean, I get we're tweaking quite a lot, but the feedback so far is, allow more interchanges, but just put a limit on it, I'd say. Is that a fair reflection, Gaz?
Yeah, I mean, you understand all that, but again, I'd like to see all games be completed. Because he just gives a fair crack to everyone, you know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, I was gutted for the league girls. So, I mean, I know the game was well gone, but he did like to finish the game, you know what I mean? So it is what I mean. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? But that's just my opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think, like I said a second ago, I think most of them are in agreement. There's only Michelle Law on Facebook who wants to keep it as it is. Us three are obviously wanting more interchanges. Majority of the people in the comment section there want more interchanges. I don't know if you've just showed this while I've been reading out. Bazza, he wants to have a 6-man bench. So, yeah, I think the overall sort of feedback we're getting is definitely have more to allow for these HIAs. And other, and
I mean, I'd keep the same amount of interchanges, but if you lose 2 players to HIA, you get your 18th man in there. What if you lose another one? So you can call upon this other player. Keep the same interchanges, but there's another player available on standby to go onto the bench.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's this week's debate, Rosie's debate question. Moving forward, we all three of us agreed that we'll put it to the people and the supporters of the pod. So I'll be contacting one of us three will be contacting somebody who's a regular on the pod or regularly watches, and you can put your questions to us. So we'll be in touch with anybody who wants to get involved. Just drop us a DM and whatever, and we'll go from there. That's the Roses debate question out the way, Jordan. It's time for AI Karl.
Karl scrolling through the headlines quick. Stats in his head, he's picking up the pics from the terrace. Talk to the training ground. It all kicks off in Karl's news round. We're talking rugby league all night. To Yorkshire and a mic under floodlit skies. From the hard hits, heartbreaks, golden tries. We laugh, we shout, we argue, we're alive. Say rugby league.
So AI Karl's just the man of 1,000 faces, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
I'm like that little girl out of Game of Thrones, where they change alt faces all the time. That's what I'm like, aren't I? You want to see the weekend face? Jokes aside, fellas, we've got a fair bit to get through in terms of news round. None so more with the first piece of news. Ex-Hull FC and Warrington halfback Mark Sneyd, he returns home to Salford as of next year on a 2-year deal. That will make him 37 years of age at that point. I mean, he's going to tick a box for Salford, Gaz, in that league, isn't he?
Yeah, and I can see why they've done it as well. I mean, it's got the fans on side as well. You saw how happy they was, and especially a friend of the podcast, Wooder. He was making a song and dance about it as well when he saw. Yeah, it's the right move for him. You know what I mean? I've got no issue with that.
Yeah, well, Woody's video is probably better for the rugby league than the football, because the football didn't come home, but at least Sneedy is.
Yeah, there you go.
Jordan, what's your thoughts on that? You spoke about Sneyd earlier on, not playing for Warrington very often this season, mate. He's going to be a massive acquisition going back home to Salford, isn't he?
Well, this is first I've heard. First I've heard.
God, it's good job I do the research. It's good job I do research around here, then, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been so busy today, right? Or even over the weekend, I've been so busy. And you've just said that, and I were almost like trying to understand what you were saying. And I were going, Sneyd, really? He's going back to Salford. Like, what's going on there? Like, how have they afforded him? Like, is he retiring? Yeah, we're a bit confused there. Yeah, bleeding hell. That's a good. That's bang on, isn't it? A 37-year-old. We know he's got these goal kicking. He's during game. He's 40-20s. He's fantastic, isn't he? That's yeah. They can make that work with money and salary cap, etc. Fair play.
Yeah, I don't know if you boys saw the actual official signing at the game. They had a table and chair stuck behind the post behind the Salford stand, and Ryan Brealey, he came out like he was a member of One Direction, fully in white, Parker pen in hand, clipboard in the other one. It was a really, really a good event, and obviously with him coming home, they made a big song and dance about it, guys, didn't they?
Do you know what? I've never seen a player sign for a club pitch side before a game before.
You have now.
Joe, fair play to someone that they've built that up well. They built it up for over like 2 weeks, haven't they?
Yeah. They marketed very well, didn't they? I mean, it's only something basic putting a table and chair there, but they certainly got the Salford faithful up and singing and dancing. So fair play to them to that. Second piece of news. Well, it's more of a statement from the Wire coach Sam Burgess. He's come out and officially told James Bentley to improve his game and his discipline. I mean, we know what James Bentley's like. He's the equivalent of Michael Lewis, a shithouse Gaz. Thoughts on that one?
If he was ever going to change his game, he would have done by now, wouldn't he? I think he can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think he's just always going to have that grub in him, to be honest. I mean, great player when he's not messing about, but he just can't help himself.
Yeah, he's obviously been at Saints, been at Leeds, now messing around at Warrington. I mean, Sam Burgess must see something in him because he keeps selecting him. I know he's on the bench at weekend, but he's started a few games so far this season for Warrington, Jordan. So is this just to kick up the arse and say, look, stop messing around? There's a quality player still in there.
I think he just needs to stop making TikToks.
Building outfits.
Doing his bloody projects or whatever he's doing. Well, I don't know. I'm not a really big fan of him, if I'm being honest. I think he's very much ill-disciplined, isn't he? And it's hard to kind of, we had it a lot with Brett Ferris. He was same when we signed him from Huddersfield. We signed an England international, and all of a sudden he were.
That was the least of his bloody problems.
Yeah, it was. But he was same, and obviously when we signed Bentley, hopefully we're going to be this world-class second rower. People were comparing him to what's his name now? Him went to the Warrington Wigan player that went to Canberra.
Morgan Smithers.
No, the other one.
Sutton.
Ryan Sutton.
No, the other one.
Fuck, how many is there?
I think you're on about a certain player, but he didn't play for Wigan. You're on about Matty Nicholson.
No, I'm on about the guy that's apparently signing back for Bradford.
Oh, you lost me there, mate.
Bateman.
Oh, John Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman. We were rumoured like he was going to be like a Bateman, like he was quite skilled, etc. But yeah, he's just ill-disciplined, and like Gaz said, I think if he were going to change his ways, he would have. Yeah, a bit late there, but yeah. If he were going to change his ways, he would have done it already. I just don't rate him. I'll be honest. I don't see him changing anytime soon.
No, that is for sure. The next piece of news, fellas. Well, it's not even news. It's a statement from Darryl Powell, which when I was doing some research at the weekend, I had to put this in news round because it just made me. I literally fell off the sofa laughing. So Darryl Powell has come out and said the Sky Sports cameras are the equivalent to a Nokia 3310.
We didn't have cameras.
I don't know exactly. No camera phone. I don't know what snake Darryl Powell was playing with. I say no more. This is a family show. I mean, it's a bizarre thing to say, that isn't it?
He's not.
Get where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Shite, basically. Isn't it?
We've said this, haven't we? We've said this.
Yeah. I think the whole Super League has said it, haven't
they?
Yeah. Well, do you know what, fellas? I hate comparing, but I'm going to do it. NRL have got bloody 4 Ultra K. You can't see a pixel. You can zoom in for 200 meters and you can't see a pixel pixelating on the screen. So it definitely needs improving moving forward. Another piece of news, fellas, before we get on to the last one. We keep saying about London Broncos, and they must have had a heads up in terms of next year's Super League positions. They've come out and said they will be more than welcome to go to Vegas in 2029. Surely this indicates that they've already had the heads up, Gaz.
that one makes the most sense of any other club that's been there, if I'm going to be honest, because it's London for a start. I mean, the capital is everyone in Vegas in America has heard of London. How many people have heard of St Helens or Warrington or Bradford or Hull? You know, it's big branding. That is, it makes perfect sense for them to go over there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good call, that. And also, Jordan, let's be honest, no disrespect to the Championship, they're not going over there to play a game as a Championship side, are they?
No, I wouldn't have said so. I mean, it's going to be up for that debate again, isn't it? Where it was circulating about when we had these 2 or 3 brand new teams in when we were going in this season. We're going to have that again, aren't we? Where, you know, arguably, are we going to swap them for another team? Are they going to be a 15th team? Obviously, we don't know, but yeah, I think it's shaping up to where London should really be a Super League side. I don't really know where that leaves the Championship of like standards, because I think if you take London out of that table, out of that league, sorry, I don't know kind of what that sort of state leaves that table, that Championship in. But yeah, I would agree. They're not going over there to play as Championship side. I think they'd have a really good crack at Super League. I'll be honest. I just hope that they can get the fans in and they can get that branding sorted. But yeah.
I'll tell you this as well, with Darryl Locklear and the connections he's got with the NRL. That particular game will be the most marketed Super League game over there.
Oh yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah.
So whoever's playing them, that's the year you want to go in 2029.
Yeah. It seems like a no-brainer at the moment with the points we've just made, doesn't it? That's for sure. Last piece of news, fellas, and it's a very serious, sad piece of news. Former Catalan Dragons half, Scott Durrell, he has passed away at the age of 39. He's been battling brain cancer. Durrell will be remembered as one of the overseas signings of the Super League era for the Dragons. He spent 5 seasons at Catalan and nearly reached 100 appearances. What a sad affair. I know he'd been suffering for quite a while. It's a bit of a shock to Super League and more so the Dragons, because at that point, Gaz, they was really trying to, build a brand, and he was, at the front thought of that.
Yeah, and that's where they were really starting to build as well, wasn't it? Would that have been when they won the Challenge Cup? When he was there?
I can't remember the exact year. Mate.
No, I don't think they won the Challenge Cup. No.
I know a lot of the club was built around him at the time because he was one of the first Aussies to go over and start that sort of cycle and, like I say, build a bit of a franchise and a bit of a club. So it's just so sad, used to hear that, isn't it? And I'm sure all people connected with the Dragons and the family of the player and all that, it'll be so sad and a bad loss, Jordan.
Yeah, I just want to say as well, during all like the commotion of work, etc. And obviously, I weren't quite in with the WhatsApp group today, but I do apologise that I would have liked to put an image up, which I would have very much done if I'd had the time. So I do apologise for that, because I think when something happens like that, especially with what happened with John Keir, we made quite a big deal on that. And I feel like I felt a bit short on there with Scott Durrell, so I do apologise with that. But yeah, very, very good player for Catalans. I'm pretty sure it was the era where Jody Broding, Jody Broding, is it? We're
winger.
Well, we're winger on at the time. Justin Murphy maybe were around. Obviously, they had a really good side. But yeah, he definitely had them playing. A very good halfback, very good goal kicker, if I remember rightly. And yeah, it's such sad for sports.
Shame, isn't it?
It is a shame. It really is. No one likes to see that happen, whether you're a player or just in general. So yeah, very sad news. I wish all his family all the best.
Yeah, and we always say it every week because we're biased, fellas, don't we? This is when the rugby league family is the biggest family in sport. we all come together, don't we? I mean, other sports just brush it off and nothing gets said. But whether you played across the water in Catalan or you played down the road for Wigan or Saints, we're all one, aren't we? So we wish, obviously, his family all the best, and RIP to Scott. Yeah, very, very emotional. Moving on, fellas, round 20 previews. We know the crack by now. There's some derby games coming up. None so more than Thursday night from the MKM, home of Hull City. Hull FC versus the reigning champions, who can't beat an egg at the minute, Hull KR. That's an 8 p.m. kickoff. I touched on it earlier, didn't I, fellas? I think this is the time that both teams need a derby. Gaz, how we seeing this one, mate? Are Rovers going to lose 3 in a row, or are the Rovers going to get back on the horse, so to speak?
No, I see a Rovers win. I think it'll be a close game like magic, but I see KR getting over the line on this one.
Jordan, how are you seeing this one, mate? Is home advantage going to pay for Hull FC? And is it about time they sorted their acts out now, or the Rovers sort of get back to some form?
I don't know.
Like it, Bazza.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think Mike is really thrown that out now. With how he did. Yes, they can put half a morg in there. I know that. Sod it. I'll say Rovers. I were going to go black and whites, to be fair. But yeah, I think Morg will probably fit in there well, and I reckon they'll just probably get over the line. I do think it'll be a tight game, though.
No, it's one of them, innit? I don't think we all know Rovers aren't playing well at the minute, but I'd like to think that they've got more than enough to beat a bottom side in terms of Hull FC, second from bottom. They've been. If Huddersfield weren't in the league, obviously it's easy to say, but they'd be rock bottom, wouldn't they? I think something like 6 points off the next place up. I think Rovers will win, but I think they'll only win by maybe 10 to 12 points. I just think if I can get out there and hit them with a couple of early tries and just get a bit of confidence back into the team. We all know Rovers have got some great players. You're not a poor team overnight, as the old saying goes. So yeah, Rovers by 10 to 12 for me. Friday, there's 2 games. Wigan at home to St Helens, 8 p.m. kickoff, and Wakefield Trinity at home to Castleford Tigers, another 8 p.m. kickoff. Gaz, I know you'll be itching to get there and get some pants down you and all the rest of it. Realistically, do you see Saints getting back-to-back wins, or do you see Wigan coming up with spoils?
Well, I'll have to get the pants down before they get in there, because they always bloody run out of ale, don't they?
I shall have a word.
I'm gonna put my neck out on the line here. I'm gonna say Saints are gonna win it very, very closely. Maybe by 2 points or something like that. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game as well. I think it's gonna be very edgy.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan, Wigan or Saints? Come on, be honest.
I'm not saying this because I need Wigan to lose.
Here you are.
You definitely are.
No, I think Saints are due. Very much like with the Warrington with Robbins, they were due. Warrington were due a win with Robbins.
Josh, we will, mate.
And I think Saints are due a win with Wigan. They've come very close at recent games. Arguably should have won a couple of them, to be fair. I'm going to say Saints. I'm going to say Saints by 12.
Saints by 12. That's a big call.
Brave, that one, Jordan.
Stadium. Yeah. I like to think I'm more of a realist.
If it's by 12 or more, I'll give you the money myself.
Well, you've just said that on live, mate. So
who's it that said that? It was bloody Les Dennis, wasn't it? Family Fortunes. If it's still, I'll give you the money myself.
The old quotes. I'll get the money myself. I'm going to be right honest here. I don't think Saints are good enough to beat Wigan at the moment. I think Wigan can turn up, not half-hearted, because that's probably the wrong thing to say, but maybe at 70-80%, and I still think they'll win. I understand Saints have improved last week, but Catalan are struggling out there, let's be honest. It's a different kettle of fish, as you know, guys.
Of course, yeah, of course.
So I think Wigan will win, but I think it'll be a respectable scoreline in terms of maybe 8 to 10 points. So we'll see how that one pans out. Wakefield at home to Cass, another 8 p.m. kickoff, like I said earlier. I'll start us off with this one. I think Wakey will be too strong. I don't think Cass get too many back-to-back wins this season, do they? And I think Wakey will win that by 18. Gaz, how will you see that one?
Yeah, I see a Wakefield winning that one. I mean, as good as Cass were last week, especially at Bellevue as well. I think, Waker by 2 scores.
Jordan, I know you Ryan Carr's your favourite coach this week, so is he going to go back to back, or like we said, a Wakefield too strong? Which one are you going for this week in terms of this game?
I think Cass.
Cass?
I think Cass. I'm going to go Cass. I'm going to put my neck out on the line. I'm going to say Cass. I thought that fight back with Leeds was sensational. I think Wakefield, I wouldn't say Wakefield are in a wrong position. I think that's a bit disrespectful to say that. But I do think they need to be knocked down the table slightly. I think Cass are going to come good now. I'm not saying that they're going to win every game because they won't. But I think after that performance with Leeds, I think it's probably going to show that they have got that fire in the belly. They are good enough. They just need to make it an 80-minute performance and a 40. I do see it being a very close game. I'm going to say Cass by 4 points.
Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say there's a narrative going on here. You want Wigan, you want St. Helens to do a job on Wigan for you, and now you need Wakefield to lose.
That's all it is, isn't it?
Cass. So there's a narrative here. I know you're the CEO and all that, but there's definitely a narrative going on here.
Not at all. I think there's a narrative for the Wigan game. I'll probably agree with that one. But yeah, I just think Cass. I just have a feeling Cass, because arguably that could be the game of the round. Could be.
Yeah,
very much could
really
be.
Entertaining game. No, definitely, mate. He makes a good point, does Kev? He's saying Cass can't win 2 on the bounce, which I pretty much said earlier on. Teenage Warriors coming out with some American slang here. Holy cow, Jordan. Now you're hyping up Cass. Yeah, he's got a fair point. That is for sure. Exact narrative, which I've just mentioned, Josh. I think he won't admit it, but it's all about the long run for Leeds Rhinos. That is for sure.
It is.
It is.
I'm just crediting the team of what they've done. Do you know what I mean? So
you're like a coach going for an interview, and he's already got a narrative in his mind, saying all the right things. Yeah. All will be revealed, mate. That is for sure. Saturday's games, fellas. York versus Huddersfield. Lee at home to Wyre. Toulouse at home to Catalan. York Huddersfield, 3 p.m. Gaz. We talked earlier in the piece, didn't we, about Huddersfield? Where will their next win come from? Do you see it this week at York?
No, not York. I think York have too much for him.
What's everyone slagging me off about? Go and call Jordan the window. You can see right through him.
Jordan was
I mean, you're right now.
Milks.
Oh, leave me alone.
Narrative, that's all I'm saying.
You better rub your own back, lad.
Jordan, Gaz said earlier on in the season that York possibly make a playoffs. It doesn't look like that, but will they beat the Giants at the weekend?
Yeah, I think that's a clear-cut game, to be fair. It could be a lot closer than most people would predict, but I'm going to say York. Yeah, I think Huddersfield just start there. I think York by maybe 14, 16 points.
I've just found a Jordanism, and I'll bring it up when we get to it.
Found a what? A Jordanism?
A Jordanism. It's
Oh,
pop
God.
up on the graphic.
Oh, right, okay.
Helens must have their own dictionaries now, do they, Gaz?
Well, there we go.
In terms of the York game, Kev says York by 8. Who's this guy here? Gareth Dixon.
Is it the Olympic?
He's York by 10. There's a lot of people favouring York here, and for that reason, I'm going to go the Giants. Up the Giants. I'm going to say the Giants by 12, because it'll be a game that nobody expects them to win. and they came close at the weekend. We against the Warriors. We will see. We will see. The next game is a 5:30 kickoff. Lee versus Wire. Lee was a bit patchy in that second half against Hull FC. Wire pretty much ran the game against the Robins. Gaz, two local teams of yours, or local enemies, shall we say? How do you see this one panning out?
Lee win.
Lee win, as simple as that. Is there some hatreds in that decision, or is it just saying what you see?
Just saying what I see. I mean, how many times have I picked Warrington to win over the season?
Yeah. Are we going to get a score from you, or is it just a case of you think they'll win?
Closer than Magic. Maybe by about 4 points.
Ooh, it is very close, that one, yeah. 4 points only. Do you see it being as tight as that, Jordan? And are you going for the Leopards, or do you think Warrington will go back to back?
It'd be a good game, that. I'm going to say Lee by 6 points.
Lee by 6. Well, I've always liked Sam Burgess, and I love James Bentley. So I'm just going against absolute grain tonight. I'm going to go Wire by 1.
Ooh.
Drop goal by Young.
When was last drop goal? When was last drop goal win we ever seen this season?
That's what I mean. We're due one, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Nobody's talking about one. We're due one. So when you're not expecting it the most, that's when you normally get one, don't you?
Yeah.
You two are going for Lee. I'm going to go for Wire. The 9 p.m. kickoff France time is Toulouse versus Catalan. Catalan are in a hole. Toulouse off the back of 3 straight wins. Gaz, Toulouse or Catalan?
Toulouse. I think they're showing a lot at the minute, aren't they? A lot more than Catalan are. And Joe won't be the same as Magic. But I'm going to say about 20 points.
Oof, big calls from Gaz. Toulouse to win by 20. That's a tongue twister for you, Jordan. Do you see the same outcome?
It's an hard one. It's an hard one because Catalans could do it. You know, they have got the team to do it, but yeah, like say Kev saying Catalans by 10. Lee beat Toulouse Golden Point by Steph. I'm gonna say Catalans. You know,
going the Dragons.
I'm gonna go Catalans by 2.
Catalan by 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Toulouse, home advantage. They're riding a bit of a wave and a bit of momentum, aren't they? So for them reasons, I'm gonna go Toulouse by 14.
Yeah, Gareth, yeah. Right. Catalans will want revenge.
All I'm going to say is there's a reason why I'm 23 points clear on the In That Number podcast predictions table. Right?
Spamming the podcast again, I see.
How often do I do that?
No, hey mate, when you're on top and you're winning, you've got to rub it in 100%.
Yeah,
you've got to have some packs, haven't you? Yeah, you've got to have some packs. That is for sure. And the final game of the round on Sunday is the 3rd best derby in Super League because it's Hull and Rovers first, then Saints and Wigan, and this is Leeds versus Bradford. 3 p.m.
Carl's got his rod out. Look at him.
Yeah. Big look on the end for Jordan. Leeds versus Bradford at Headingley. Jordan, we'll start with you, mate. They need to bounce back, don't they? They've had the one bad game this year now. That's out the way. Do they bounce back at home and beat the Bulls?
I don't. I'm not going to. You
hesitation.
Are. No, yeah. No, I do see Leeds winning. I think what Leeds need to do this week is they need to realise that they can't just park the bus. I think that Cass result has it should have really given them a reality check where they're not, unbeatable. The Shield ain't quite there yet. I don't know whether they've got a bit cocky maybe of how they're playing. That's definitely knocked them down a peg. I would have liked to have thought it would have done. And they just need to continue. They had that game with Castleford. They had that game done and dusted. They didn't need to switch off. So I think Bradford will give it to them. And I think if they show them weaknesses that they did with Castleford, I think Bradford will exploit that. So I have no concerns that Bradford won't give us a game. But yeah, I would like to back my own team and give the credit where I think it's due. I think we'll sort out the injuries. I think we'll sort out the best team. I'm going to say Leeds by 18.
Leeds by 18. I mean, Gareth Dixon, he says Leeds by 24, and Kev says Leeds by 22. Teenage Warrior, he says Leeds by 10, trying to keep the points difference down for the league leaders by the looks of it. I mean, Gaz, what are you saying?
Whitewash. Absolute whitewash.
Yeah.
Like Gareth said, they've got no players left. They're absolutely riddled with injuries. So, and it's at Leeds as well. So I'm going to say by at least 34 points.
I mean,
just because we skip past it now, I'm going to point out the Jordanism. Look at Toulouse on the graphic.
It's the Olympic, isn't it?
It says Olympic.
Yeah, Olympic. Yeah, I noticed.
Ollie Piqué.
Ollie Piqué.
Gerard Piqué's little brother.
Ollie Piqué.
You know what?
It's French. You don't understand what it means. It's French. You know what I mean?
It means Olympic, you sausage.
I'm gonna say something here and make myself look stupid, which is not very difficult at times. But I looked for this graphic and I didn't see that before we came live. So I'm as daft as Jordan in one sense.
Well, at least I didn't get like our names wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
I'd be worried if that was the case.
Yeah, no.
So I'm gonna go back to the prediction, fellas. Leeds, Bradford. I'm gonna go Leeds. I'm gonna go Leeds by 42 points.
Ooh.
Not to score 42 points, by 42 points.
Yeah.
So I can maybe see a 50+ points Leeds, maybe a 6 Bradford or something like that. I just see it being that wide. Yeah. So I mean, all of the reveals.
It could very much go like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like Leeds might actually, you know, turn up and be like, right, we've had that bad game, like you say, and just completely whitewash them, you know, and kind of make them suffer for the game against Cass. That could happen, but it's also, I think they need to have a bit of a reality check where they need to realise that, you know, teams are chasing them. So, you know, they need to just be a little bit less cocky, in my opinion. They've not won anything yet, as I've stated. They are top of the table currently, but teams are chasing them. So they need to knuckle down and sort themselves out.
No, fair comment, mate. Honest as ever. Just before we sign off, we've got a couple of shout outs to make. We just want to give young Josh, Teenage Warrior, he's doing a charity zipline challenge at the Brick community to raise funds for the following charities above on the page, as you see. We will be adding a link to all our social media pages to try and support Josh with this. So if there's anybody in the comments or anybody's watching this at a later date, the information will be there on social, like I've just said. So please try and get behind this lad because he's got behind us from day one with this podcast. So fair play to you, Josh, and good luck, mate. We will be making a donation at some point. That is for sure. Guys, There's a little plug you wanted to throw out there.
Yep. So on the a week later, actually, on the 8th of August, we've got the Steve Prescott Foundation Charity Balls event. There it is. It has been updated since then. It is now half to Steve Prescott Foundation and the other half to MND. And the ex-pros and celebrity players, I've got the list here. I've got Darryl Clark, Gary Connolly, Paul Locklin, Mickey Hyam, Ben Westwood, Adam Fogarty, Tommy Martin, Andy Reid, who's a local triple amputee, served in the armed forces, Eamon McManus, Derek Beaumont. And now these are the outside of the rugby league. Jonathan Pearcett and Jude Riordan, who are both in Coronation Street, so something for the ladies there, probably. Ashley Taylor-Dawson, who does this every year, he's in East Nova Hollyoaks. And ex-Liverpool player David Fairclough, with 2 more to be announced tomorrow. And one man, the man, is taking part Sir Kevin Sinfield. Now, there's been bids
Brilliant.
to play alongside these celebrities, and the highest one by a country mile is Sir Kev, and the winning bid for him to play alongside him was 4,500. So there's a lot of money going to these charities. So we'll be looking forward to it. I'll be down there. I may be doing something. I don't know yet, but fingers crossed.
Well said, mate. Well said.
Very good work. That pretty much wraps up another episode of the Monday Night Live, Gaz.
Yeah, so big thanks to everyone joining. I think it's the busiest one we've had so far. So
cheers, Gareth.
Massive thank
Appreciate
you to everyone getting involved. Yeah, appreciate everyone coming in, everyone commenting, giving their opinions and their thoughts. Big thank you to our sponsor, Acorn Joinery Leeds, for their continued support. And remember, the podcast is for the fans, by the fans.